Well, it's October, so we're starting a new series. We are actually looking at the first events of Jesus as he took his mission into Jerusalem. You know, last month we dealt with the preparatory, his first ideas that he was presenting to his people, to the area above Jerusalem. But now he's going to where it all is. That's the temple. And you all understand that Jerusalem is the base of all Jewish faith at that time. People would go to Jerusalem during high holy holidays from everywhere. They would make sacrifices there. It's their space. In our culture, we have many different places we can worship. In any church, on any street corner, or in our own homes. It doesn't really matter. But to them at that day and time, this was it. So Jesus is going to Jerusalem for the first time as a teacher. And the people have already heard about him. So they're expecting the king. So I want to start just by reading the scriptures with you, and then we'll go over it. Okay? Agrarian 72. Jesus is going to Jerusalem for Passover, high holy holiday. When he reached the temple courts, the multitudes were there to see the prophet whom the people thought had come to break the yoke of Rome, restore the kingdom of the Jews, and rule on David's throne. They had heard he was the king. They had not heard the rest of the message, that the kingdom is within, God is within you, God is love. That kind of didn't make it through the gossip line, you know. The word it was, the king's here. And that's what people heard, and then they responded with their outer focus. They had been looking for someone to free them outwardly in the world. The people saw him and they said, "All hail, behold the king." And Jesus answered not. He saw the money changers in the house of God, and he was grieved. And the courts had been converted into marts of trade, and men were selling lambs and doves for offerings. And Jesus called the priests and said, "Behold, for a paltry gain, you have sold out the temple of the Lord. This house ordained for prayer is now a den of thieves. Can good and evil dwell together in the courts of God? I tell you, no." And the priests obviously did nothing. They probably said, "This is what we do around here. You're a new kid on the block. You just need to go on, back it up a little bit." And so Jesus, and according to the story, made some cords and drove the merchants out. He overturned their boards and threw their money on the floor. He opened the cages of the captive birds and cut the cords that bound the lambs and set them free. And then the priests were very upset and would have kicked him out. They were trying to seize him. But the common people stood in his defense, and they said he was the king. The common people knew this probably is, what he's saying is probably right, and what they've been doing to us probably isn't. The common people knew, so they stood in his defense and would not let the priests get rid of him. So I want to stop there for just a minute. As a child, when I heard the story, it's like, oh, Jesus was mean to somebody? That doesn't make sense. You know, your little heart goes, oh, well, they probably meant good. And I'm sure they did. I'm sure all the merchants meant well. But just to bring you up to speed with what was happening, in that culture, when you would come for Passover, the money changers would take your foreign coin and turn it into temple coin. Do you see? The temple had its own money system. So if you're coming from a far country or from another city, they would take your coin and exchange it. And in the way of airports, perhaps, if you've ever traveled, you know if you land in a foreign country and you exchange your money in that airport when you land, is the interest rate going to be higher for you to pay than if you exchanged it in the city once you got there? Everybody who's traveled says, of course, it's a lot higher. Why? Because you're a captive audience. Because you've landed in this country and you need some coin. So they charge you more. And the money changers charged you more. Exorbitantly more. And you've traveled a long way, and it's Passover, and you know there's going to be sacrifices, and you need a lamb and a turtle dove, and you need this and that for all your sins, because that's the law. Well, you can't carry lambs and turtle doves with you along the path. So you go to the temple, and there's the merchants there who have all the lambs you need. And of course they're going to sell it to you because that's their job. And they're going to sell it to you, yes, at an exorbitant rate. Because these are temple lambs, ready for the slaughter. Just for you. Saved them just for you. So glad you're here. Do you see? And the idea, and the priest were making money on this. Not for the church, for their pockets. So the priest had to deal with all the merchants. You guys can come, sell what you need to do, sell what you need to sell, and line my pocket a little bit. We got a good thing going on. And the people coming in because they're faith-driven. They're coming to follow their faith. Whatever that authority presents to them must be real. There was no option. I mean, you could bring your own cow, but that would cost you more to drag it across country than to buy one in the temple. Do you understand? So, Jesus came in and seeing this, realized the advantage that was being taken of the people because of their faith. Their faith in God was being harvested for the profit of man. And he said, oh, no, no, no. This is not what God set up. Can two energies live in the court of God? In the consciousness of God, in the court of God consciousness. Can there be people serving self and people serving God? Can there be people taking advantage of others and people serving God in the consciousness of God, in the court of God? No. There's only love in the consciousness of God. In that court of God, there's only love. And this idea of taking advantage of another person for profit or for gain should not live in the court of God love. So, metaphysically we say that Jesus went in and he was clearing the foundation so a new faith could be born. And we do know a new faith was born. Christendom was born, Christianity was born at his death, burial, and resurrection. And actually a new Jewish faith was born in 70 AD, shortly thereafter, when Rome destroyed the temple. They had to morph, they had to change because their temple was destroyed. So, he is clearing the foundation for this new faith to arise. And in order to lift into a higher level of consciousness, do we not always have to clear our foundation? Clear the beliefs that don't serve. So, how many of you still to this day have within your consciousness some sort of belief about money and religion? Do you have beliefs about authority in religion? Okay. All right, some do, some don't. But if you're going to actually see yourself as child of God, free agent, able to create, able to be, able to express, do you think these old beliefs you have within you could become limitations and a hindrance? Okay, so this is really what he's doing. So I wanted to examine some of that today. Breaking the yoke of Rome was what they thought he was doing. He was breaking the yoke of their beliefs. Let's talk about money, shall we? Our favorite thing. We love money. Your spiritual beliefs should profit you. Your spiritual beliefs should profit you. As you live, as you believe, so you should receive. As you love and give freely with the world, you should be receiving freely. Do you see what I'm saying? This is our belief. As you hold these beliefs in consciousness, they should go out and they should return to you. This is what metaphysically we know to be true. It's a universal principle of law. So your spiritual beliefs should profit you. But should you seek to gain profit from someone else because of their beliefs? Do you see the difference? Now I am self-serving. Now I am saying, oh, Sarah believes this. Sarah believes that the fairies will bless her. I have this beautiful acorn from the fairies. I'm going to sell it to Sarah for $5,000. And then she'll have her belief satisfied and I will be rich. You see? All right. Profit. To profit from your spiritual beliefs is good. Profiting by exploiting the beliefs of a spiritual person is interesting. Interesting. Okay? I have seen, which you have as well, people who will say to you, which they do, if you buy my car, buy my service, buy my offering, I will tithe 10% to your church. And they are enticing you, are they not? They're enticing you to go into this deal with them. Oh, you're going to tithe 10% of what I pay you to my church. And you feel good about giving them your money. Because they're going to tithe 10% of what you give them to your church. Now, who's really tithing? No, nobody is. There's no tithe here. To the person, it's a business expense, just as much as advertising. I'm going to write that 10% off as a business expense. Yeah, I got them, but yeah. Okay, write it to that church. Okay, write it to that church, and then we got a Catholic over there. We got it all going on. It's a business expense to them. They're not tithing. And you, if you wanted to tithe that money, why not write the church check? That's tithing. Oh no, I'm going to get me something. And if I get me something, then the church is going to benefit. Yay me. And in our little blurred sense of reality, we might say, yeah, that works. But it's kind of a gray area, isn't it? Now, I know what you're saying to me now. You're saying, Cindy, what about Amazon? And I love Amazon. Amazon has a program, Amazon Smile. And if you register with Amazon Smile, and you say what your nonprofit organization might be, every purchase you make on Amazon, they get a little kickback, your nonprofit organization. So I registered on Amazon Smile, and InterQuest Church is my little nonprofit organization, so every time I go shopping on Amazon Smile, a little percentage of what I buy goes to InterQuest Church. Now, when I'm shopping on Amazon Smile, do I even think about that? Doesn't enter my mind. Because I'm going to buy what I was going to buy anyway. To Amazon Smile, do they think, oh good, I'm supporting a metaphysical Christian church? It's an operating expense for Amazon. And it's a good thing. But I do not consider it a tithe. When I want to give InterQuest Church, do you think I go, let me do some shopping? InterQuest needs some money. I'm going to go spend some. I'm going to go buy something really big on Amazon for the church. No. No. We need to be clear about the financial hold this world will give us. We need to be clear. I give, and as I give, I invest. As I invest, I receive. Do you hear? As I invest, I will receive. If I am looking for financial gain from my spiritual house, I'm forgetting God is spirit and creates matter. I'm looking at God as merchant. You're going to do your merchant, do your merchant. But remember that God creates matter. And when you can lift into that, what is withheld from you? Nothing is withheld from you. Can you feel the little glitches in your pocketbook right now? Can you feel that? All right. There are so many times when our beliefs are one thing, and we're presented a really good sideways idea that just might work, that'll profit us somehow. And it's not always financial. Sometimes it's this or that. We're always seeking to gain, are we not? That's what we're wired to gain. We're always seeking to gain. So I'm going to tell you a more difficult story. As a minister, I've had the opportunity to be presented many ideas that would help our church financially. And we were doing a fundraising a couple of years ago, and this beautiful idea came to us. In our part of the country, there are sporting events with horses that are sponsored by churches. And the church will take that event and they'll sponsor it. And then another church will take that same event next week and sponsor it. And sponsoring one of these events is quite lucrative. You feed the people who come out, they buy food from you, but you make your money by selling them alcohol. And you make a lot of money in one day by selling them alcohol. And that was presented to our board. You guys can make a lot of money in one day. If you do 1 week, you'll make this much money. You could do 2, you could do as many as you want. You'll make a killing. You'll get that building fund up in no time. And it was like, wow. And every eye of the council was on me. Oh, how does Cindy feel about that? Because I don't drink. The church is basically non-drinking. You all drink. I know you drink. But what we do here, even when we do communion, we do water. If we have a party on the premises, I don't allow alcohol. If there's a wedding and someone wants to do a champagne toast, it's like, no, apple juice is great. Let's do an apple juice. Let's do non-alcoholic. I want to maintain the energy and integrity of who we are here, the church. A lot of churches don't mind it at all, and that's great. I don't mind that most of you are drinkers. If you were not allowed to drink, our congregation would be very small. It'd be me. Not myself. Yeah. So it's not the personal choice of what you do, it's who we are. And a lot of people have had a hard time understanding that. The council was so sweet. They said, Cindy, if you feel you would be uncomfortable doing that, we will not do it. And I can just see me now. I would have a breathalyzer every time somebody ordered a drink. No, you're cut off. No, you can't have. We make no money. We make no money. Because that's not my world. What we do at InnerQuest is we try to teach personal choice, clear mind. Conscious choice, personal choice. A space to come and love God, love one another, celebrate life together. If you want to party, you can party in that energy. If you want to party in another energy, great, that's fine. But that's not our job. And when people try to get me to see that I'm wrong, I'm reminded of the school system and their children. How would you feel if you went into your elementary, junior high, or high school and saw your student's teacher kicking back with a bottle of wine while she's teaching, while she or he is teaching? I see some already do that. There is wine hidden in those desks, I'm afraid. But think about it when you go to your parent-teacher meeting and the teacher kicks back and pops up scotch. Here, have a little drink. We'll talk about your kid. Would you feel that this is a clear, concise space, that you're going to hear clearly about your child? Would you want that? Would you?
No.
That's the energy that we hold. There's a time and space for everything. But if we go out of our space for money, we now have a leak in our energy fields. There's a leak in our field. Because our space is to educate, to love, to clear, to help you see God, to help you connect. That's our intention. If we do something other than that, other than what our intention is, there's a leak in our field. How many of us in our belief system are cajoled into leaks? Someone has a great idea. You can do this. Well, I don't know if that resonates with me totally, but I get a vacation. Okay. I get a payoff. I might make some money. I'll try it. My belief will hold. My belief will hold for a month or two. It can be quiet belief. It's okay. And then we do something, we have an experience, and we realize that our energy field is depleting. Do you understand? In order to hold the idea of something new, we really have to clear the energy that keeps our power outside of self. And that's what all of those sacrifices did. All of that, I have the authority and you do not. What if it was a rule that you had to be baptized and you have to pay $1,000 to get it done? There are churches and belief systems that foster that position. Maybe not as dramatic. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel separate from God and your own belief of God? Yes. If there's any residue of anything that separates you, any leaks in your field, this keeps you from building what you want and what you dream. The end and the means are the same. Basic metaphysics, you hear that from the beginning. The end and the means are the same. We were raised with the idiom, the end justifies the means. If I need to get there, I can do anything I want as long as I get there. That was the mindset that I was raised, maybe not in your day and time, but in mine. The end justifies the means. The end and the means are the same. If you struggle and hate it, when you arrive, you're going to struggle and hate it. If you're feeling like you have to get out and screeching as you go, you're not going to arrive in peace. So many people in metaphysics, we decide, oh, I can have love. What a revelation. I can be loved? What? Someone can love me? This is a revelation to our soul. I can find someone who loves me. And the first thing we do, God, I need love, I need love. And we look at the person we're with and we say, get behind me, you evil, wicked person. And we exit out of love. Do you think we're rushing to love? No. No. The ends and the means are the same. As you proceed, you receive. As you achieve, you receive. So, right where you are, changing the belief. Changing the belief with the person you're with. I'm going to love you. I'm going to leave you. But I'm going to love you while I leave you. I'm going to honor. I'm here for some reason. I don't remember why. But I'm going to love you as a child of God, and I am leaving you. So let's figure this out lovingly and gently. Now, do you think that being is going to be moving to love? The answer is yes. And harmony and peace. And seeing the good in the whole. They're achieving a lot with those acts. The ends and the means are the same. How you achieve is how you receive. When we have a drain in our field about God, we are hindering the fulfillment of our connection and our dreams. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I love that the people stood up for Jesus. They knew in their heart it was wrong, but they didn't have the inner authority to say no. They couldn't say, well, you know what, I'm just not going to sacrifice anymore. They had no other way to connect with God. Their belief was, God is through my Jewish base. If I don't sacrifice, what am I? I'm a maverick, I'm a pagan. What's going to happen? I'm lost. I'm lost. But they knew. And so they stood up for the truth. This is symbolic of us now standing up for our guidance. When your inner Christ guides you to something, and your whole common sense kicks in and goes, yes, I knew that all along. And doesn't your common sense kick in? Yeah, and so often people say, you know, Cindy, that counseling was just regular common sense. It's like, yeah, you didn't think about it, did you? No. But their inner knew, their Christ knew, and they'd been feeling something pulling at them. And then you have to stand up and say yes and act on that. Not act on the rules that you think you have in your mind. Not act on anything. And I'm going to go back to money again, guys. Why do you think God didn't make money? Why do you think you did? Why do you think this whole economic system is outside of God's care? God created all of this. Matter is an expression of our creations. The money in your hand is a reflection of the energy you've given. The money you have access to is a reflection of the energy you've given. I don't care if you don't work for a living and you have access to money, it's a reflection of energy you've given. It's all a part of you. It's all a part of you. Why do we look at it so separate? When marketeers come in and want us to start building our building fund, they're always wanting us to have spaghetti dinners and charge $500 for a plate of spaghetti and entertain the people. And I just look at them and say, well, they're entertained all the time anyway. We have plays, we have music, we have all kinds of fun things for entertainment. It's free. And if you're going to pay $500 for spaghetti, just write a check and come over for dinner. We'll feed you. Patrick's a great cook. He's a great cook. Why do we have to cajole people to let money flow in their world? We don't want to be cajoled. Do you want to be cajoled? That's what allows this manipulation to come in. Spirit, our Father, Mother God, is in charge. We are the creators. We move in this world that we've agreed to. We have agreed that it's a world of matter. We've agreed that they're tangible things. We agree that we give our energy and we have an exchange that comes back to us. And then where do we put that? Where do we want to invest our energy again? It's all where we want to invest our energy. And do we really want to believe that we have to do something someone tells us to. Give our energy to something someone tells us to connect with God. I know there are a lot of churches that will make you tithe, and I know I'm on money today. A lot of churches will make you tithe to be a member. Even some really huge big ones that I've heard about in the Atlanta area. And if you're tithing to be a member, you are not tithing. Tithing is to connect you with God. If you are tithing to be a member, you're a member of a club, an institution. You're paying your dues. You're not connecting with God, your Father. You're not tithing where you're spiritually fed. You're not every time you write a check saying, God, I'm choosing to give this because I love the energy that's coming to me. I love it. You see? Anything that gives you a rule about your energy, go within. What do I really believe? Remember what he came to teach them? The kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is in you. And then he turned over all the outer instruments. That was the only outer demonstration of revolt that he did. They wanted him to revolt against Rome. He revolted against the temple. And he physically turned over and freed the animals. They didn't have tables, as Dr. Erica will tell you. They sat on the floor. But he turned over their trays of money and freed their animals. And he said, no more. This is not necessary. Go to God in your heart. The intention, I think, was just to stir us up a bit. To maybe think, what do I still harbor within me that I'm not aware of? Maybe to think the next time somebody comes to you with a get-rich-quick scheme, you must ask yourself, have I put enough get-rich-quick energy out there? Am I really sending energy out there so fast so it can come back to me as get-rich-quick? Because if you haven't, it's not. If you haven't, it's not. Maybe we just need to look at if there's any belief within us that still keeps us from saying, God, my Father, my Mother, whatever I have is yours. Whatever you need to teach me to create, I will. I am co-creating with you, and I'm not afraid. And this goes not to money, it goes to relationships, it goes to mental ideas, it goes to everything. Everything in matter that makes you hold on. The minute you take a breath in, suck it in, and grab onto something, you're in one of those beliefs. Don't you think he needed to do that to clear the field to start this Christendom, to start us really understanding God within? Don't you think he did a good job?
Yeah.
Yes. And there's just a residue within us, right? We're doing good. Just a little residue. All right. Breaking the yoke of your beliefs means surrendering to possibilities that you do not yet know. You ready to do that? All right, let's put our feet on the floor. See a beautiful column of light coming over you. And feel that essence of God love filling you. And I want you to feel your consciousness, feel your heart. Welcome in the presence of Jesus the Christ. Take him by the hand. And just gently feel that he lifts you up now. And let him lift you up the beautiful light until you can find yourself in the court of God. Wherever you end up is perfect for you. Perhaps an outer court, perhaps you're in the Holy of Holies. Let yourself be. Feel the immense love of God filling this place. There is no thought of self-serving, for self is satisfied. There is no lack in this space. Feel it full of a beautiful light. Breathe it in. But I want you to become aware. You are satisfied. But within you, even in this space you want to express, there is a desire within you to take this energy and express and create and be an expression of God. That is your power. That desire within you is your power to act, to co-create, and to express. And as you let it just move out from your heart in this court of God, realize that it is a full energy. It is not self-serving. It is self-expression. It is filled with love. And all the energy of love supports it. It becomes one with this beautiful energy of God's court. I want you to turn and look at Jesus Christ. And just say, I get it. And I'm ready. Breathe. God, we ask that you bless each one as they stand in this beautiful space. I ask to gather all the light that will serve me, all the light will support me in my mission. And as you ask, feel everything coming to you. And now, breathe and just send it before you. The light goes before me now. And very gently allow yourself to come back into the physical body, feeling yourself in the chair you sit, in the physical. Feel your energy and realize you are still in the court of God. And just choose to express that light. I choose to express this light. Take a breath. Send your love into the room. Open your eyes. I choose to express this light. Can you feel it?
Yes.
Powerful, co-creative children of God. Whatever you want, you can have. Clean the temple. This week you're going to see little things come up, as it always does. But remember, Jesus just took a broom, swept the floor, cleaned it all up. You don't have to get all excited. Just get your broom. New foundation. So it is.